The success of the Ford Mustang right out of the box in April 1964 reset the automotive landscape in the 1960s, but it was really just a really good-looking sporty car with kind of modest powertrain options.
Carroll Shelby got a call from Lee Iacocca, who was at Ford at the time, and he wanted Carroll Shelby to somehow give the Mustang a little bit more of a racy image. So Carroll Shelby took the Mustang Fastback and Ken Miles and the people on his staff, and they created what really was one of the most formidable street machines of its era. The 306 horsepower 289 was light and quick and agile, and the suspension was upgraded, and the appearance of that car with the Shelby stripes, they gave that car an entirely different personality.
Now it's time to go to the racetrack and see how it does. So specifically for B production SCCA racing, 36 two pre-production and 34 production versions were built called the GT350R, and they dominated B production racing right off the bat.
The modifications that were made to make the R model competitive really weren't that comprehensive. The engine was pumped up, maybe closer to 350, 375 horsepower. There were certain things done to the body. The rear window was dropped down a little bit to help aerodynamics. The R model proved its formidability right from the get-go. It immediately started winning races.
This GT350R is well known as the Magic Mustang, and it's earned that name certainly because of the extraordinary race wins by a variety of different drivers. But what really shocked everybody was Charlie Kemp, 1968, won 17 straight races. And just as impressive, I think, is the fact that it was clocked at Daytona in 1968 at 184 miles per hour. And that remains to this day the fastest 289 cubic inch powered Shelby ever.
Charlie was a stockbroker from Mississippi and began racing when he was just a young boy. Had 54 starts in that car, finished 42 of them, which shows you the durability of the car and also the preparation that went into it, and won 32 of those races. Those are the kinds of numbers that you would associate with some of the best known drivers in racing. And yet here's a fella virtually unknown, but was able to take that car and run up those kinds of numbers. Very impressive.
Back in the mid to the late 1960s, you'll see a lot of GT350Rs out on the racetrack, and they're really hard to tell them apart, but not in Charlie's case. He decided he was going to make his stand out with some orange paint, some orange trim, very distinctive on the front of the car. The high quality restoration done to the Magic Mustang here has replicated that and adds a tremendous amount of charm and historical accuracy as well.
It was painted that color so that when it was racing, the drivers ahead of it would be able to see it in their mirror and know that that R model was on its way and to give it a wide berth. So there was a practical and a safety angle as to why the front of the car has that orange paint on it. We have had several of these cars across our block, and every time they arrive, there is electricity in the air. To have this R model come to the Mecum auction block just continues that tradition we've established of having the most important, the most historically significant, and the most desirable Shelby Mustangs to come to our auction.
The success of previous sales of these cars is what continues to generate new consignments, such as the Magic Mustang. This is a really big deal and certainly one of the main attractions at Mecum Monterey.